Hello everybody, and welcome back to Pravus Gaming and more Plague Inc. Evolved Custom Scenarios. Got another request from GD Mitch, the guy who wrote all of the Ultimate viruses, as well as the Yellow Fever that we did last week. The Ultimate Necroa virus. For some reason, I thought I had already done this one, which is why I didn't get to it sooner, so I apologize about that, but we're fixing that now. Once again, thank you to all these different people for helping with the creation of this scenario and some balancing, apparently. Let's see, skipping down to bottom, this all looks pretty standard. Basically, it's extremely terrible. Everyone turns into zombies. They're somewhat fragile. They're more slaves than sentient corpses, okay? Blah, 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 blah. Use the unlimited DNA cheat to see and explore every trait. Okay, custom. Yes, all right, all this seems pretty reasonable. Let's go ahead and try out the Ultimate Necroa virus. Metabolic Jump, Darwinist, Aquasac, Hemophile, and Dopamine Inhibitor is my standard lineup, and I have to believe it's going to work just fine. NVI and N1. Zombified, Encephalopathy. Infection of the brainstem can make you the decider of death. Normally, after death, nothing really happens. Normally. The ability to process caloric-based actions help make some neurological actions possible. Good luck. Selective Evolution. Go down the orthostatic tremor path for the quickest route to unlock zombies. Good to know, thank you. That saves me a lot of effort. Alternatively, go down the other to kill more people instead. Evolve gene synthesis abilities and metabolism reestablishing abilities to unlock more traits. Evolve with caution. I'm guessing there's a bit of a downside to picking up some of these traits. Maybe you make your zombies stronger in certain ways, but also less cohesive and don't travel as a group, or something along those lines. I don't know. Okay, so gene synthesis abilities is necessary to get more stuff. We're probably going to go down the orthostatic tremor, because I like zombies, and I don't necessarily care if I kill people when they're all zombies. They're technically already dead! So that's all I care about. Vegetation is for free, apparently. Hijack of the mRNA. Lordy, my tongue just completely shut down. Hijack of the mRNA mechanism in plants allow virus to enter plasmodesmata. I don't know what that means. Increases mutation chance and effectiveness in the rural areas. Alright, we probably should have started in a rural area. Viral RNA deposited in a chain of mRNA allows virus to penetrate cell wall of plants, increasing infectivity, mutation, and rural effectiveness. Alright. Incubatory sepsis. Infection of lymph fluid and bloodstream allow virus to manipulate organs and bodily functions of the host, increasing possibility of transmissions, but also increasing severity, which is fine. Vegetation 3, again, very infective. A little bit of mutation chance, apparently. And insects, they carry the infectivity in the hot climates, which is probably something we want, so we can spread faster in Saudi Arabia. Should definitely have started in a rural area had I known that we were going to have so much extra transmission effectiveness in a rural spot. So we have Insect 2, we do have Termites, effective in most climates, and Aphid, or little fleas and stuff. Very good in the humid environments. Alright, symptoms. We have the Parosmia, olfactory receptor neurons damaged, leading to triggering of the olfactory bulb. I don't even know what that is. Man, GD Mitch must be a smart guy. Sense of smell becomes dysfunctional, harder to cure. And then there's the orthostatic tremor. Overactive surge of TSH result in form of hyperthyroidism. Triggers asterixis, nystagmus, invictum. Where's there a comma? Asterixis and nystagmus, this is not an actual medical term, it's two separate things, and a victim, reducing independent functionality and metabolism of host. Yeah, I just don't know what any of this stuff means. Look, I do medical simulator things like this. I have zero medical training. I don't know what anything does, okay? I just look at stats. That's all I'm good at. I'm an engineer. I like readouts. I like charts. That's what I do. I guess we'll go ahead and pick this up for a little bit of extra severity and infectivity as we start moving out of Saudi Arabia. But, yeah, we probably should be focusing on getting, I don't know, more insects. Maybe some termites or something like that. You know, they're pretty good in all climates out here. We're going to go for the insects, though. Spread faster in a hot place like Saudi Arabia. More vegetation. You know, it is mostly good for the rural, I'm sure. However, it's pretty effective across the board anyway. Good stat increase, so we'll pick that up. Insect 3, very good in the hot climates and a chance mutation. But I'm going to go ahead and pick up some termites, just so we have a little bit of extra transmissibility in a lot of different climates. On the off chance I have no desire to stay in hot climates for a very long time. So we do have gene synthesis. Creation of monomers allows for synthesis of RNA, ribonucleic acid. I do know that much. I remember my old high school biology, sort of. Creation of polymers help with bonding between protein-coupled receptors. Okay. Gene synthesis 2. RNA polymereses promotes DNA transcription when monomers are present, increases complexity. AMP establishment, or AMP, I guess. Adenosine monophosphate production increases synthesis and metabolism of pathogens, proteins, and homeostasis and establishment of adenylyl cyclases. Unlocks new traits. Okay, that sounds great. You're confusing me. I don't know what anything does. If there's any author in Plague Inc. who makes me feel like an idiot just because I don't know what I'm saying and how to pronounce anything. Like, I didn't learn Latin either is a thing. I know there are people out there who learn Latin in high school and stuff. First off, I've never really understood it because it's a dead language. But it is helpful for understanding a lot of your Latin roots in the English language, amongst many other European languages. And to that extent, it can be quite helpful. Learning how to pronounce a lot of Latin, I'm sure would be very helpful. But I don't speak Latin. We're going to go for the termites. Very effective, apparently, in poor regions. More vegetation is an option. Direct manipulation of chlorophyll decreases chance of pigments occurring in exterior of plants, making it more likely to be consumed, increasing the wealthy effectiveness, which sounds pretty good for me, since we are starting to get into places like Europe and these United States. Do we want to go for some humid? Maybe. Increasing severity here, more possible transmissions. The thing is, I'm quite satisfied with the transmissions I have already. We will go for some humidity. Then we'll probably go for myxedema. Severe stimulation of lymphocyte also stimulates fibroblasts, slowing release of collagens. Damage to thyroid receptors can trigger hypertension, thermia, and coma. I'm sure there's supposed to be like a slash here. Hypertension and hypothermia? Maybe. Coma seems pretty severe, but we'll go ahead and pick that up because I am getting into a lot of countries and I do need some more severity. Arteriosclerosis. See, I got that one. Thrombophilia triggers acute narrowing of arteries due to possible buildup of plaque. Patient can result with stenosis of arterioles and dyslipidemia. I don't know how I even got away with that one. Can be fatal. Okay, a little bit of lethality. Not sure I need that at the moment. Gene synthesis. Again, I'm not really out of pathing yet in the symptoms or transmission, so I don't know if we need the gene stasis yet. Scientists are very concerned. Yeah, very good at the cell regeneration thing, I hear. What does this one do? Further peripheral olfactory neurons damaged. Increased activity to contralateral regions lead to host smelling phantom non-existent smells. Harder to diagnose. Pretty helpful, actually. Hypersomnia. Increased neurological function in thalamus causes excessive compulsive resting. Unfulfilling due to lack of REM sleep in host leads to increased tiredness and drowsiness. So it's a bit of like an insomnia. They're trying to rest, but they can't actually enter REM, which means their brain is not feeling rested by the end of things. We could go for more transmissions, or I can start working toward them zombos. Let's go for AMP establishment. That leads to amino acid activation, aminoacryl tRNA synthesis, I'm sure. Enzyme helps consume ATP attachments to tRNA to amino acids. Help create new mono and polymers. I mean, that's the thing, is I just read this sentence out. I could not for the life of you tell you what it means. For the life of you, not me. For the life of you, I could not tell you what it means, which means you're just gonna die. ADP restoration, catalyst with phosphates, and AMP allows the production of adenosine diphosphate. Recreation of ribose backbones helps with DNA replication and transcription. No idea what this does. Let's go for a level of gene synthesis. Allosteric inhibition. Enzyme released increased significantly. Okay. I mean, when you say enzyme release, what does that mean? Increased odds of, let's say, an enzyme turning people into zombies? That would be my best guess. Ooh, what's this? Wolf. Rural and cold regions. Actually good for Russia. I'll take it. Corpse transmission increases cold and rural effectivity. Corpse transmission and mutation. Ba-boom. And Wolf 3. Infected wolves become rabid and travel great distances. Increases infectivity, especially in rural and cold regions and mutation. See, I understood all of that. I assume that I can probably only process things at like an 8th grade reading level, and maybe you'll be close. It's not actually true. I was reading at an 8th grade level when I was like in 3rd grade, but still. Genetic activation in termites combined with ability to infect wolf corpses has caused termites and other insects to create Titan-sized breeding grounds near dead wolves. Infectivity slightly increases. Well, that's awesome. Do I want this, or would I rather start working toward the Zombilinis? I think I want to work toward the Zombilinis. We're going to go for that. Ataxia. Cerebellum becomes invulnerable to infection. Pathogen triggers inflammation of cerebellum, impairing victims' coordination, balance, and speech, often fatal. Pick that up too. That leads to acute atonia. Muscle cells electrolytes disrupted, causing broad, severe, and acute long-term muscle atrophy, weakness, and paralysis, occasionally fatal due to fatal accidents. Occasionally fatal due to fatal accidents. You know, it was sort of implied when you said fatal accident, but all right, we'll go with it anyway. So they're going to start working on that cure, and they're probably going to start shutting a lot of things down. We got into a pretty reasonable spread across the globe, though. So if we can get those zombies going, I can definitely get the hordes to finish the rest of the job. I just need to get the zombies. So let's go for that. That leads to cataplexy. Isolation of posterior and lateral hypothalamus causes mass depletion and occasional destruction of hypocretin neurotransmitter neurons. Can be fatal. Or catabolic disinhibition. Pathogen creates catabolic pathways. Reanimation of anabolic mechanisms. Reestablish metabolism in dead corpses of infected host. Reanimated experience hypomania. That sounds like zombies to me. I think. Sort of. I don't know. I mean, I'm sort of dumping on myself because self-deprecation is humorous, but at the same time, I also don't know for sure. I'm pretty confident I interpreted that to mean we have zombies. Yes, we've got Hey, I was right. What do you freaking know? All right, we can get encephalitic hypoplasia. Hypertrophy of axons results in neural atrophy. Unnourishment results in massive brain cell death, triggering underdevelopment, halting of brain, highly fatal. Don't necessarily need that. I do, however, want to get the horde structuring so I can move people around and just ensure that we are going to get some sort of a push into the countries we are actively missing. Let's see. That includes the Philippines, the Caribbean, and some islands up in the northern regions. Let's go from, let's say, China to the Philippines. Wait a minute to get some zombies from the USA. We're going to send them to the Caribbean. Thank you. And then what else do we want? We'll go from the UK up to Iceland. Seems fine. We can go for more attraction, which is nice. I don't know what these do. I'm assuming in some way they actually are assisting my zombies and making them more effective in some way. We don't need an infectivity. That's no longer relevant at this stage. We're going to go for gene synthesis again. That leads to nucleotide resuscitation. Adenine and other esters of phosphoric acid established creates rehabilitation of nucleotides. Pathogen mostly aerobic. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means, not at all. In practical game terms, I don't know what that means. Does it make my zombies more effective in some way? Maybe. Let's see. We're going to go from Canada, send a zombie up to Greenland, and that will take care of at least all of the islands. Then it's just a matter of getting into places like, let's say, Poland and Finland and the Baltic States and Ukraine. Okay, make sure we get into all those places. It easily pays for itself, of course. We're turning people into the zombies. Perfect. So now we have access to increased steroidal surge, increase of hydroxylation, and synthesis of corticosteroids stimulates anabolic steroid release. Interaction with androgen receptors increases zombie strength. Thank you. The last three words, got it. Understood. A, 10 out of 10. Full comprehension. Enhanced hemoglobin transport. Pathogen gains the ability to manipulate plasma and leukocytes of zombies. All right, we'll pick that up too. That leads to lactic acidosis. Dichloroacidic acid and buildup of analog acids in blood causes zombies to have very acidic blood. Increases zombie rate of decay, but also increases strength. Okay, so now I understand there's a trade-off there. My zombies decompose faster, but they're also more effective. You know, we don't want them to decompose yet, at least not until I know where we have to deal with ZCOM. Lymphatic encephalitis, or elephantiasis? That's usually elephantitis. Blockage of lymph flow causes lymphedema. Combined with generalized edema of lymph nodes, zombie strength enhances trauma protection. Sweet, they're more survivable. I love it. Polymelia. Things. Reanimated zombies and some bodies develop extra limbs, heads, and joints. Greatly strengthen the zombies. Thank you. It all makes sense now. All right, what are we missing still? Central America, Greenland is a nice way. We're about to get hit. Norway and Sweden. Yes. We should probably go from Finland there, and from Finland to Sweden. And we can go from the Caribbean to Central America, and that takes care of everything. Everyone's going to be fully, not fully, but at least partially infected. So in theory, when ZCOM sets up in frickin' Norway, we'll be able to deal with them eventually. We just need more effective zombies, and we need to have them travel in massive hordes. Let's see, hyperplasia. Proliferation of basal layers in the epidermis triggers rapid development of zombie tissues, larger numbers, okay, so reanimation, and ossificatory fibrodysplasia. Touch tissues. Okay, soft tissues and wounds be ossified. Zombies become resistant to incendiaries. Thank you. Very effective against people trying to set them on fire. Awesome. That sounds great. We're actually not quite dead in Norway, so that's good. Let's go ahead and get some Horde attraction for the thousands. And we're going to have the Scots invade Norway. Hey, it's just like my very first EU4 campaign. Do we want to go for Horde telepathy for speed, Horde hypnosis for hundreds of thousands, or maybe go for some of these things and see what happens? Let's pick these up. ATP production unlocks new traits. All right, what kind of traits did we get? I don't see any new ones. No, I have no idea what we get from that. All right, let's make them resistant to fire. Fireproof zombies. I mean, really, what more could you ask for? Metabolism near maximum. You have fully automated metabolic mechanisms. Feel free to evolve at will. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, maybe there was something I didn't quite grasp. I think this was alluded to in the description of the scenario, but there's trade-offs. Like, you can only have so many metabolic enhancers before at some point your zombies kind of peter out. Maybe by picking up the ATP production and such, we've actually greatly increased how much. So maybe there's actually sort of a cap to how much effectiveness you get out of your symptoms, and picking up these abilities is greatly increasing that cap. I would guess that that's what it's doing, but I'm not absolutely positive. Let's go for the enzyme release. ATP communication increased. Repellent membrane. Glycopeptide resistance helps increase infectivity and drug repellers of cell receivers in the long run. I'm guessing this is drug effectiveness, which I don't really care about, and I don't really need resuscitation. Like, that's the thing. We have things that let us reanimate large numbers of zombies, but I never did pick up the resuscitation. What's this? Allosteric activation. Activation of enzyme controlling acceptors and receptors. Help control metabolism, unlocks ability to reanimate dead corpses. Oh, I assumed that this would be it for the resuscitation. I am apparently wrong. Okay, so that's what lets you resuscitate. I don't usually need to do the resuscitation. We're also about to land a few thousand zombies in Norway. And by a few thousand, apparently I mean 1,300, which is not exactly a lot. But they are increasing in numbers, which means ZCOM isn't strong enough to resist against them, so that's probably good. Don't need more transmission. Do I want this? Probably not. Let's go for cataplexy. That leads to psychosis for slowing down research. Narcolepsy for harder to cure. Lactic acidosis sounds like fun. I don't think I need it per se, but we might do it anyway. Yeah, so we probably want to send a few 100,000 zombies to Norway just to speed this process up before they get much stronger. So let's go ahead and pick this up. That leads to Horde cognition. Millions strong, of course. One more point here should be fine. Let's go from, again, Scotland. Everyone flees to the to Norway. This is going to hurt. Sorry, Norway. But the Scots are invading. There's 100,000 zombies. Have fun. Come on, hit that critical mass. Get him. Swedes, attack. Danes, attack. Everyone gets ZCOM. All right, what else we want? So I kind of want to pick up lactic acidosis just to see what other options exist. There's almost another 100,000 zombies there. There's another 100,000 zombies there. Hypersomnia, mutated. I mean, the thing is, ZCOM's actually holding out fairly well. Like, we are winning, but they're doing a good job. Let's go for the lactic acidosis to increase our strength. Then we have basal nucleic reanimation. Regeneration of reflexes increases sense of awareness, which presumably just makes the zombies more effective. I think we're gonna be just fine, though. The world should be pretty much doomed right about now. There we go. ZCOM has been destroyed, and I think that's the entire world. Almost every single zombie has decomposed at this point. Yeah, so they don't last as long. Usually in a typical game of the Necroa virus for me, I've got at least a couple billion zombies left. They kind of decay very rapidly in this, and I'm sure it has something to do with exactly that metabolism I was talking about before. So I guess the more symptoms I'm picking up, the faster they peter out. Which is actually kind of a cool rebalancing mechanic. I'm kind of glad that that's added in. It does add a bit of extra complexity. It's just I went fast enough that it didn't really matter. But that's a really interesting idea, and I support it. I'm fully supportive. All right, there's nothing left. Hooray, 401 days, 75% cure progress, 54,000 points, even. Ding, 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 ding. How'd you happen to make that work? I don't know. 2 stars. It's good. It's a good scenario. I don't think there's anything really wrong with it. Again, I feel like a dum-dum because it's hard for me to read all of those words, but that's sort of GD Mitch's signature style, and I can't really complain. It's mostly just humorous for me. So anyway, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If so, then I would ask you to hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.